You're now listening to the sound of
CCP.
Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. This is Brainstorm, once again bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. Here exploring the business side of the newly emerging Colorado economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the user, to the retailer, to even the geek in the garage creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannabipreneurs build sustainable businesses while living the lifestyle. I'm excited to announce we have a new sponsor. Please welcome Cushly Odor Eliminator. You heard them on the show. Now they've come on board officially as sponsors of the Cannabis Community Project. Give them a welcome. Reach out and say hi.
Yeah, the 6 degrees of Cushly. It's amazing.
Thanks for listening to another week of CCP Radio Show. It's great to be here on your Saturday afternoon. As you find time to listen, wherever it is, where is it? Where do you listen? Are you listening at the gym while you work out? The car as you drive to work? Where do you listen? I want to know, right? Don't you want to know if somebody's listening to you? I can see the numbers. I can see the analytics. I just don't know your name, your face. So reach out. I know you wonder about who I am, and I wonder about who you are. So give me a contact. Send me an email. Send me an update. Send me a message. Do something that lets me know you're listening out there to the Cannabis Community Project. Let everybody know you're listening so everybody listening knows you're listening. And that's how we all stay connected. Maybe since we're all doing the same thing, we'll get that sense of community, right? I mean, it is the Cannabis Community Project. So we're looking for that community interaction where you state who you're with or what you listen to or what you do, and it instantly connects you to somebody. How would you like to go to a party or an event and meet somebody that also says, hey, I listen to Cannabis Community Project? Now you have a connection. Now you know what to talk about. Now you know you're part of the same community. So I want to meet you, and I hope you can meet each other. Let's make this happen. Let's take these shows off the virtual airways and make sure we also find a way to physically meet up, create some events around these shows, find a way to meet in person and actually press the flesh, right? Put the palms together in a friendly manner. It is truly an energizing feeling, right? When you're connected, you have connected minds working together. When you know there's a group of people with a focused energy, I can feel your energy. Or maybe it's just this new flower I've been testing out this last week. Since my grower is on hiatus, he created the cardinal sin of allowing his product to deplete itself before having new stuff in the ground. I don't know. Hey, did I tell you that I was an inventor? That I like to tinker around with new products and designs and come up with ideas? That's what you do. And not just in a stoner way, like I actually come up with a stoner idea and try to implement it. I have many of these. I have maybe a notebook full of various ideas for inventions. I'm in motion, right? This time I'm in motion with Emmett South from the Bong Buddy. We've been interacting over the last couple months trying to figure out what is it that we can create together, that we can invent, that we can design, that incorporates existing products that we already have under our belts along with some new ideas, some original ideas. Get it out there in the marketplace, right? I'm not just a radio show. I'm also looking to put something in your hand. I want you all to physically have something from the CCP radio show as you're consuming your medicine or your recreational plant. Doesn't matter to me. However, or whatever you consume, I just hope you tune in and listen. And maybe if I create a good product, that will help you remember who we are here at the show. So this is what we're doing, right? We're meeting up with people. We're exchanging ideas. We're creating businesses. We're putting the whole universe in motion. You know, I've had ideas for years, and I finally decided to take action on it. And a lot of it actually has to do with this show itself. And I'm not just patting myself on the back. I'm just saying in general what happens when you put something in motion, how it leads to other things. And this show has really inspired me to keep going. It's given me my own confidence that I want other people to get. Because as I do it week by week, and as I see the show numbers rack up, and as my community expands and I meet more people, I really actually start to think, hey, this could be a whole new career for me, a whole new life path that really leads to what I've been looking for this whole time. And it really is the best excuse to reach out and meet new people. I got a podcast. I mean, if you just sell sunglasses down at, Sun Hut, or you work at Burger King, or you're an accountant, down the block at the bank, or whatever it is you do, it's not so easy to just reach out to people, because if your opening line is what you do, then it's like, wow, whoop-de-doo. What are we at, a networking meeting? You're going to try to sell me insurance? But when you have a podcast, people get excited, right? Hey, what's that like? Is it like radio? Hey, how do you do it? Who do you talk to? What's it all about? Do you make any money from it? Where does it take you? That's how I met my guest today. Viz.Red and the gang up there off of Airport Road, the Bitcoin miners. That's right, we still have miners out there. Miners who don't come out with black lung, maybe a black thumb from hitting the keyboard too much or just hitting the pipe too much. These guys are Bitcoin miners, and I had a very interesting conversation. We had the whole crew up there. We took Scoop, we took Syndicate, went up there, met with Taylor, Ryan, and a few others of the gang up there. Learned all about what Viz Red, Viz Corp, nonprofit is all about. You guys ever see the X-Files? Keep that in mind as you listen to this interview. You might get a sense of where we are and who we're dealing with. Bunch of great guys, though. I had a lot of fun up there talking to them. Learned so much about Bitcoin. Hey, this is really going to change the industry. Bitcoin is going to be the place that is going to swoop in and steal all the business from the banks that are putzing around, that are putting up barriers, that are preventing businesses from having bank accounts and from getting involved. Bitcoin is basically going to be the place that's left where all these dispensaries and manufacturers and people making this money can't go open their bank account with it. So what are they going to do? Well, they're not going to put it under the sleeping bag. They're not going to put it under the mattress. They're not going to dig a hole out back. They're going to come across a person like Ryan or Taylor up here at VizRed, and they're going to get educated about Bitcoin. And they're going to realize what the future is, and they're going to realize how to secure their money. See, right now, it's just at the beginning stages. We've been hearing about it for years. It's been building up. It's now getting mainstreamed a little bit. Well, in the next couple years, if the banks keep doing what they're doing, and the government keeps preventing businesses in the cannabis industry from having a safe, secure place to deal with their finances and place their money and their currency, well, Bitcoin is going to gradually step in and say, here I am, industry. I was built for cannabis in more ways than one. Not just where to place your money, but also transaction costs, transaction security, and just in general, a whole new form of security that might be the first international monetary security, not really sponsored by any single government or nation. How does that work, right? Because we're all under this system of governments controlling Federal Reserves controlling banks, the whole money supply, pyramid, top-down model type setup. Bitcoin might actually transform the whole idea of currency and money, but also of nationality and independence, that maybe a government can exist, a society that is not attached to its money, and maybe its money is not the basis of the society, right? Because for many years, the United States was so powerful because the U.S. dollar was powerful, because everywhere you went in the world, people accepted it. It was instantly recognizable, and it had a stability that came with it, knowing it wasn't going to be, I wake up one day and all of a sudden 3 zeros are hacked off my dollar like they did in Mexico, or it's not going to be, I wake up one day and all of a sudden I need 1 million of these to buy a gallon of milk, like it happens in other countries around the world. It's stability that creates the value, since the value is not really backed up by anything tangible. It's not backed up by gold. It's not backed up by something that you can physically exchange. It's backed up by confidence of people that are governed through their financial system. But what if a nation could exist that was independent of its currency? What would that do for society? What would it do for the concept of defending assets and going to war and maintaining financial stability and a consistent low inflation rate? What would it mean if all of those didn't exist? What would it mean for a government, for a politician? What would it mean for a bank, for a business? We got a whole new world coming ahead of us. We're in the change right now. Everything from biology of humans to the technology that we use to the world we live on, everything is changing. Are you ready? Are you ready? Well, we'll find out, and we'll get into that conversation in just a minute. But before we do, like always, let's make sure to look back at last week's episode with our short-term memory flashback relapse. Do you remember that show? Give you 3 seconds to remember what it is. Oh, you don't remember? That's why we do it. So take a couple minutes right now. Listen to what we did last week. Please comment on iTunes or Stitcher or Spreaker or wherever you're listening, SoundCloud, YouTube. Comment, like, share. It helps me, which ultimately helps you. I appreciate it. Cannapreneurs, we got something big going on here. Stick with us. Here we go. Have a conversation.
Cool.
All right, whenever you're ready.
What's up, guys? This is Classic, and you're listening to Cannabis Community Project, Colorado-based artist. I do conscious hip-hop with a mix of trap in there.
Hey guys, I'm Kate Thomas. I'm a vocalist based here in Denver. Just trying to work with a bunch of different people in the industry, get on different tracks, learn from anybody that I can, spread positivity and good energies to anybody that can listen.
Good, that's a good tagline. Good energies, right?
But for me, I think music to me is something that I'm able to almost record moments on that are able to be replayed.
How old were you when it started?
I started writing when I was 14. I'm 20 now.
What was going on? Why did you start writing?
I
troubled youth?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, definitely that had some influence for sure. I had moved high schools, and I grew up with all the kids I was supposed to go to high school with. Yeah. And freshman year, I moved to one of the most affluent counties.
Freshman year,
Yeah, so I walked in knowing nobody in the whole high school.
At the bottom of the chain.
Oh man, it was bad. So I just, the only thing for me to zone out was writing. So I would just sit in class. And
what kind of writing?
Poetry, spoken word poetry. And I would just, listen to a lot of atmosphere.
When was your first stage presence?
I started, my first show was at the D-Note in Arvada.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know the place. What was the setup? You went there to be on stage?
Yeah, I was on the bill.
So you put your name on a list?
I've been blessed with some really great friends, really incredibly talented musicians.
Yeah. If everybody's feeling your stuff, you can probably sell anywhere from 10 to 20 shirts.
And what's the overhead? It's you and who? Who has to be paid at the end of the night?
Me.
And you don't have sound people you work with, crew that haul your stuff around, agents, managers that get a percentage?
The manager, me and my manager have a contract for a percentage, but at this point, it's almost, not even worth it for them to take anything. So they're like, well, just
why am I even your
it.
manager?
Yeah, So there's that, and like I was saying, man, you have to really separate yourself as an entity. It's the darker side of the industry, man. It's something that if you're aware of, then
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, it is what
the old saying is. Classic says, focus on yourself, don't be a dick.
Yeah. And, yeah, seriously, man. And work on your flow. If you are a young, aspiring artist or somebody that does have questions, I'm always there. I respond to every single person who hits my inbox, no matter what, every time. Again, just follow me anywhere you can. Twitter and Instagram is at 303Classic, KLASSICK.
I'm Kate Thomas, and you can follow me on Facebook. It's Kate Thomas Music, or on SoundCloud. Again, Kate Thomas Music. Anything that you guys are looking for support on vocally, anything that young vocalists are looking for pointers on, or anything like that, feel free to direct them towards me.
Nice. Well, I appreciate your time today. Every time I talk to artists, I learn more and more, and it translates to so many other ways of entrepreneurs. Hey, if you have an idea or some thoughts about business, or maybe you have a business you would like to promote on the show, contact me at brainstorm@cannabiscommunityproject.com. Dairy Berry's recording studio, located in Arvada, Colorado, is your local recording studio with affordable rates. Mark is well experienced and will make your show, music, or any audio you have sound great. He makes our show come across the internet loud and clear every week, and he can do the same for your project or band. Take a look at Dairy Berry's recording studio or call Mark at 303-456-8216.
I've observed so many emotions in life and so many different experiences and wanted a medium to be able to portray that to other people and connect with other people on another level.
But we're not hippies, though. We're like tech hippies.
You know, I don't pay taxes, don't need to, because everything is given, we give away.
Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? We be out here making money, driving cars.
Go to the grind and I'm gonna make the dollar.
Sweet smile, but I forget your name. Met you once, but I'm not to blame. Drink in hand, and it's a shame that I'm not better.
So, last thing on the way out, I'm putting together some pitch ideas for some TV shows. You guys have any ideas you would like to see under the Cannabis Community Project umbrella?
Like, of course, you'd have to do something funny. Like, even if you just catch random people off the spot and do just, like, funny, crazy stuff. Like,
so, comedy genre, you like?
And then tie that in with music somehow. Like, if you could do something like that, that would be cool.
You should know.
Like reality based,
yeah,
where you can get true, genuine reactions.
So like a show where you just scare people.
Not scare people, but just
that sounds like a dangerous job. See, we don't want our friend getting hurt now.
So not even a prank show, just one where you just scare the shit out of
like
people.
you can prank people too. Like just where you can get genuine reactions from people and just have fun in the city. Like
something where like we know what's going on with local music in general, like really good local music of all genres.
Yeah.
Get them really silly and get them high, and then like edit it up. Have you ever seen Adult Swim where they're like just cracking it up and then like chop it up and make it look
that could
crazy?
be done.
Like 2 artist interviews and then a live.
You can mix it up with what she said.
You should know that I've made up my mind to waste your time.
I think it'd be an awesome show.
All right. Well, I appreciate those ideas. You know, as I do more shows, TV, audio, podcasting, whatever.
Turn around and be better.
Well, here's a fun fact. I love this. What makes hemp different than, say, certifying corn, wheat, rice, whatever, is you have this nagging little problem of THC, Delta-9, the stuff that gets you high in marijuana. It's also present, usually, to some degree in hemp. And there's legal requirements on the threshold concentration that's allowed so that you can still call the plant hemp and not marijuana. It's 0.3% by dry weight. Exactly what dry weight is, you have to talk to a laboratory technician. But I think it's basically a means of making sure you're comparing apples and oranges. So, yes, another excellent source of information is me. My name is David Bush. My law firm is David Law, DAVIDLAW, davidlawcolorado.com.
Very good. Well, as always, I appreciate your time, and we'll have to check in again. We'll do another little update.
My pleasure.
We'll speak to you again.
Yeah.
Son of the morning, I'm gonna chase you out of earth. I'm so high and nearby, the cops are coming to arrest night. Another way, so now today, light up a blind and say, in front of my doorway. It's Friday and I got the day off. I'm packing it to get ripped off. You got yours and I got mine. I was out about together and combine. And so you sit there and take moonshine. I took a little sip and felt it in my spine. I don't remember anything after that. All I know is when I got on my brain was flat. In the outback, looking for my smokestack. The cops are coming, so I pull back. And not today, I said no way. Light up a blunt and sit in my driveway. It's the loving of the music. It's the loving of the music. Music. La 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 la. I don't remember anything at that. I don't know what's on the ground, so my brain went back. In the outback, looking for my smokestack. The cops are coming and I pull back. And not today, I said no way. Light up a blunt and sit in my driveway. It's like you're fine. Go to your house and what you drinking, oh. Smoking on a cigarette, I smoke another ball. I don't know what's left to say. Go find something new today.
It's Ryan and I talk Bitcoin.
Can you do that again?
Were you not recording? Did you miss my moment of genius? In the moment, man.
You should have just recorder set up.
I do. How do you know I don't?
Do it again.
Yeah, my name is Ryan, and I'm going to talk Bitcoin.
No, but that's not how you did it. Yeah.
Oh, should I be talking would you me? I'd me. I'd me so good.
Whoa, man. You passed the line a little there.
Would you listen to me talk about Bitcoin? I'd listen to me talk about Bitcoin.
All right. What's the name of the Bitcoin brand?
It's not so much a Bitcoin brand. VizCorp, our for-profit corporation, handles that. And right now we are looking at getting an office in New York State so that we can get a license, a financial license to do more transactions of Bitcoin, kind of move up into the exchange platform level.
So it's all under this VizRed company.
Well, VizCorp, is
that
registered with
like
the state of Colorado.
Should be in a Batman movie as
Right?
the evil villain, right?
VizCorp. That's kind of what I was
Anybody?
going for. Yeah,
No?
a little bit. My last
Kind of
one
a-
was Oblast Multinational. So I mean,
Oblast?
OBLST.
What does that mean?
It's actually a slightly abbreviated word that's similar, like a Russian language, Oblast. It's like it could be a few different things. It could be a military internment camp, or it can be like a region, a section of space. So anyway, I'm not here to talk about all this. Bitcoin and cannabis.
I'd love to hear all of your facts of trivia one day.
VizCorp owns the trade name of Viz.Red, but Viz.Red by itself is also a 501c3.
Okay.
And that's separate and also registered.
But this is where you're doing the mining of the
Yes.
Bitcoins. Okay.
Yeah. We have miners.
Well, we got to have something for people to look up, right? Because if they like what you're saying, they want to look you up.
www.vis.red.
Excellent. Are you guys related at all to the Denver Bitcoin Center?
No, actually, you might say those are our only closest friendly competitors. There's really nowhere else in town. I mean, you named
So they're doing something similar. So they're kind of competitors, but you're in association.
They're not really competing. I mean,
Are they mining
center.
coin or just brokering coin?
From what I understand, they're trying to get more into the financial doings of Bitcoin, but the trading, the buying, the selling,
Right.
which there's a lot
but
of
they're
money
not
to be
mining
made in.
anything themselves.
I think they are, but I don't know if they're mining as much as us.
You say that with a smile, like
It's very competitive.
you're running out of here with
it's-
your suitcase of gold.
It is like with the being strapped to your wrist.
Well, let's
you know?
talk. How much Bitcoin you got?
We don't have any because every day, when I get paid out, every 24 hours, I just roll it into more hash rate, more
All right.
miners.
Well, let's back up. Let's establish some basics. So, just give me some, like if you were a news person that said, "Give me a news clip." What is a Bitcoin?
What is a Bitcoin? A Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. What kind of news guy are we talking to?
From the 1940s, please.
Right.
And then progressively change up through the
Oh,
70s,
man.
and
This is
then
a
the
challenge.
80s, and then roll into the more standard Brian Williams.
News break. Oh man, I don't know.
You can
if I
do it
accept
like
that challenge
if you
right now.
remember that Family Guy episode of Stewie doing the acting class where he had to
Right. We could go through the whole life cycle.
Right,
and-
exactly, as he's spinning around the floor.
Bitcoin is a currency, cryptocurrency, so it's
does that mean,
decentralized.
crypto?
Well, cryptocurrency. It's still like you got money on PayPal, right?
Yes, I have
you know
a
that
PayPal
number
account that's attached to my bank.
You know that digital number that isn't physical. You can't hold it. It's intangible. It's a number on a screen somewhere.
Actually,
on
I
a
don't
computer.
know how it works. I'm actually concerned. Well, can you give me something that the most simplest simpleton would understand? Is what is a Bitcoin? I mean,
It's money.
It's money. Paper money?
It can be. I mean,
It can be?
I'm probably the most technical person to talk to about this.
All right.
So to put
Well,
things in
there are
jargon,
two of you sitting here, so
let's
why
see
don't
what
we
can-
do a team effort?
This is Taylor
Okay.
over here. So it's basically just a virtual dollar.
A virtual dollar.
Okay, it's like gold would be the easiest way to compare it to, because in that sense you can buy and sell as the price goes up and down. Right now, Bitcoin's a commodity. Right now, Bitcoin's sitting at about at $394 a Bitcoin. So just like gold, it's sitting at about 1,100 right now, or 1,100. Yeah, it just fluctuates up and down. To turn it into a physical dollar, you pay attention. Oh man, Bitcoin's real high right now.
So it's another
You sell
currency
it.
in competition with the dollar?
Hang on.
Yeah.
There's a website you can go to where you can buy goat shit and anonymously mail that pound of goat shit to someone. Or elephant shit, or they have a few different interesting beasts. It costs like $20
Keep going.
approximately, right, to mail this pound of shit to someone. And you can do so with Visa card, Bitcoin, any number of things. So the U.S. dollar, it takes 20 of those to buy a pound of goat shit. Now, over the last 5 years, Bitcoin has always been worth more than $20. It hasn't been a point where it hasn't. So to say that the U.S. dollar isn't worth goat shit and Bitcoins have been worth consistently more than goat shit is, I think, the best way I can describe the competition there.
Let's see if we can break this down. So Bitcoin is a form of currency that holds a digital form, right?
Yes.
The transaction takes place over the internet.
It does.
And the value is derived from what people place on it or the scarcity of the existence of them.
The most layman's term I can put that, Bitcoin is worth whatever people are willing to buy and sell it for.
Okay.
Because it's decentralized. No one controls it.
Okay.
So there's no regulatory
Why does
authority.
it exist, though? Why?
I mean, why not?
What? Because I have $1 in my pocket. Why would I need to change it for a Bitcoin?
Well, what are you going to use your dollar for?
For anything that everybody will accept. Who will accept
Okay.
Bitcoins, and what's the
Well, you
value of
can-
changing my dollar?
Anything you can buy with $1, you can get with Bitcoin.
I can.
You can.
I already have $1. Why do I need to change it?
For example, you give me 20 American dollars today, okay? And if the same thing happened from today that happened last week.
Is this one of those setups like you
No,
give
no,
me
no.
20,
I'm not
put it in
interested
your
in your
pocket,
money. I'm not interested
you give
in your
me
money.
like a little slip of paper, and then you walk away, and I'm like the sucker,
No,
right?
there's not even a slip of paper. So then the value of increased about $100 last week. So your $20 would be worth what? $30, $40? Not quite double. So probably $30 around there.
So you guys are brokers of Bitcoin.
It'd be the same if you're going in stocks and trying to figure out when to buy and when to sell.
Well,
and
commodities.
You're brokers.
We buy and sell Bitcoin here. Yes.
Okay. That's the core of what this is about. You're
Yes.
buying and selling Bitcoin.
We do.
And you're occasionally mining it yourself, which we'll get into what that means.
Consistently.
So you're brokering Bitcoin. Now, who is in this market? What type of people are interacting in this market?
So far, our demographics have been interesting.
Shady fellows.
Darknet
that wear
fellas.
leather coats. Mm.
Trench coats and smell like their grandma's house with possible dead bodies in the walls. Those types of people. So, but that's not the demographic for Bitcoin. I
So-
don't want to represent it that way.
Let's fully understand what Bitcoin's all about. Is it anonymous? It's
Most
a way of
layman's terms,
making
yes.
like right now I couldn't buy something from Amazon anonymously because I have to give them my credit card, which is attached to.
Does Amazon accept Bitcoin? Newegg accepts Bitcoin. No.
The point is, though,
But anything
Bitcoin
you
is
could-
a way to make payments online without it divulging who you are.
Yes.
Which
It's also a
means-
way to buy and sell weed without it divulging who you are, if you want to go that direction with it. Which is why I think dispensaries should have Bitcoin ATMs so that people can buy and sell Bitcoin using their credit cards or anything like that.
Yo, hey, this is Syndicate stepping in with a couple of questions, or at least commentary. The shadier side of Bitcoin, of course, it's been linked to things like North Korea have used it to pay for the Silk Road, their own military, using a number of different game platforms. People pay little coins for things that add up in the game, and they can use Bitcoin to do it. These guys actually have created games that created a platform, siphon bit money in. That was the shadier side of things. But on the legitimate side, people are doing things like paying for airplane tickets or hotel rooms on vacations, buying houses.
So as a layman, let me ask you, if I were to ask you, what is a Bitcoin, what would your response be?
Well, it is a digital currency that is, it's created electronically. You have your little bit miners here that are a specific type of computer, a little different than your standard processor on your normal computer, to run a specific huge amount of strings of data separately. Like, it's got a little different process of hashing. Okay, so maybe explain how your process works that you guys actually generate, and you have a specialized process going on here that basically creates money.
Yes.
It's a money mine.
It does, and a few of them are wireless, so it's like a wireless money generation, which is even cooler.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Geeking out here.
Geeking.
Geek for a minute on that process.
All right.
We're geeking over here hard.
So your normal processor, your normal CPU that's in a computer or APU, it's designed for general use. So it's designed to do a many number of different functions. And they don't seem to be putting like dedicated SHA-256 blocks within the processors that they're making for the general public. And so these are ASICs. It means it's a processor that's designed to do one thing and one thing very well. In this case...
of times.
Yes.
Many times.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yep.
Yeah, so I guess keep going. And how does that work? How does that process work that it's actually creating money? So what are you doing over and over that's generating money?
Well, we're securing the network, the transaction network, if you will. And at the creation of Bitcoin, a certain amount of those coins were pre-allocated for rewards so that while miners, these systems that are made that do a security algorithm very well.
Right, and that the algorithm is the secret to Bitcoin. And the
yes,
generation
the hashing of the security codes, the transactions, if you will. So you're pulling things down, encrypted equations, and you're solving the encryption, and then what you're left with is a transaction, which you're confirming, re-encrypting, and then sending back off. So
and that racks up credits.
Yeah, and then if you can do as many of those as you can a day, and you get rewarded based on how many you do. It makes it much more secure than, say, Visa's security system, which they recently rolled out those V or EVM chips or whatever they're calling those, and those are very secure, but nowhere near as secure as the Bitcoin system.
Okay, and so that basically shows us how it's basically being created. It's a digital mining process, breaking down this algorithm, running these computations, basically racks up into credits that gets you sooner or later a Bitcoin.
Yes.
And that kind of gives a stable valuation because it takes a certain amount of processing to create
It
these,
takes electricity, it takes hardware costs, maintenance. I mean, just in electricity alone, we're probably running 5 kilowatts.
Right. So what does it cost you to generate a coin then? Because that's going to be the thing. Is this easier than work?
Yeah, I could make money in my sleep wirelessly. I mean, yeah.
Right, exactly. Because, I mean, that's the thing. You got to pay an electricity bill, you got to buy these units, and then you generate a certain amount of coin.
Yes.
And that's basically the bottom line.
Yeah.
And apparently you're making it.
We've been doing this very dedicatedly since about May, and myself for a many number of years. I mean, during a good spike, they make a good $40 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And I mean, that's half of a minimum wage job.
Right.
A few more months and we'll have a minimum wage job, income, 24 hours a day, not doing anything.
Right, but this isn't something you can do with just a batch of old computers sitting in your garage.
It is, but it wouldn't be energy efficient. If you weren't having to pay for power, you could.
Okay, so definitely these little bit miners are what it's all about.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're
specialized processing systems on these things, the hashing.
Yeah, and you're looking at when you're getting into picking a miner, what you're looking for is basically its efficiency in gigahash per kilowatt or per joule, whatever they break it down to. Kilowatt, I don't know what size they go.
What would this unit cost, or what would these average units cost? I'm sure there's good, better, best.
These are modified units. You can find these ones on eBay for $20 plus $20 shipping. So I mean, these ones are really old. I mean, they're not really old. Maybe 2012, 2014, early 2014 actually, and they're already worthless. That's how competitive this market is.
That's what I understand is the big thing. You're dealing with people who have more processing power than you do.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's even groups, collectives,
yes,
people doing this.
There's a number, countless companies, especially Chinese companies, that are pouring, $50 to $500 million a swing, into new mining facilities. And say Iceland, they're putting up quite a few.
Right, but I think that also shows you that there are people out there, even, not quite superpowers, but there are people all over the world who are investing in this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everyone. Blockchain technology, the technology behind the Bitcoin, the actual like currency backbone, that technology is being adopted all over the place. Visa, HSBC, I think, was submitting, one of the larger banks was submitting patents for it, and like they're really trying to get in with all this new blockchain tech to secure their own currencies and I mean, possibly, potentially make future currencies.
How do you compete? There's other coins out there. I know of like OneCoin, I think, is another.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
There's actually
of other
quite
coins,
a few.
yeah.
There's a list, I think.
Dogecoin, Darkcoin, Dash, I guess. Namecoin. Namecoin is big for us. Here's an interesting fact. You know how you can have a domain name, right? Any domain name, but the government and other like regulatory agencies can take your website down. You don't own that domain name. It's not yours. You're renting it. With Namecoin, you can generate .bit domains, which are yours and which no one can take away from you. Exactly.
Better to own.
You're generating it yourself.
So you can create.
Yeah.
Maybe just talk amongst ourselves.
My apologies.
You guys sit back and hang out. No, I just got to talk. I have questions. I don't have the third mic, so
I have answers.
I got to force myself back in. You know who you guys remind me of? What was the name of the guys on the X-Files?
Oh, Scully and...
No, the three...
the
three,
geeky guys in the lab? Yeah, no doubt. We're going to be doing alien autopsies over here and messing around with plasma cannons.
Three Kings.
They were a reboot of that.
I forgot the name of it. You guys watch the X-Files?
I love the X-Files.
Yeah, I love the X-Files.
What's the name of the three guys?
Want to believe.
I can't remember. Come on.
Oh, or the conspiracy guys.
That always helped out Mulder.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, no doubt. Going to have our
You're just
database full of all kinds of weird shit.
counterpart. I want to learn about this
Black Ops.
Bitcoin.
I want to teach about this Bitcoin.
And what you're saying, because it sounds very government conspiracy like, right?
It's not. It's more like open source, like Firefox.
But here's the thing: if it's not under the control of a government, where it can't be taken down by somebody, that's a threat, right? If I can't take your site down,
Are you saying the internet is a threat?
No.
I mean, it is.
The
It is a
uncontrolled
threat.
internet by the government is a threat to the government. Which
Well, sure.
means you're saying, what you said is that a domain name that I rent out from like hover.com, right? I pay my $15, I get my .com. You're saying it's not mine, that I'm renting.
Look at how long you're buying it for. You're buying it for a year. You're buying it for 3 years, 5 years, something like that.
Right. But what you're saying is there's this other form of
Namecoin.
Yes. Which somehow generates a URL that cannot be taken down by anybody except that company.
No, you'd have to remove it from your Namecoin wallet.
You yourself as the user.
So they'd
even
have
the
to come in
company-
and take your computer with your Namecoin wallet on it. They'd have
and
to
that
take
can't be
that whole
stored
thing.
cloud somewhere and backed up. Or
Oh, sure, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that's a threat to a government.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like saying here's a bank that you can't.
That's like saying
control,
that
you
the
regulate.
Tor network is against. I mean, come on.
That's why it's a threat. Imagine a bank looking at the Federal Reserve and saying, "I want to start printing my own money." Right? The Federal Reserve could say, "Oh, I guess you could print bank notes." Right? I mean, that's technically you're right, but that's still a threat. It's a threat because the Federal Reserve is not just creating an individual note for their bank. They're creating all the notes for all the banks. So when somebody comes along and says, here's something that's going to shake your system, that's a threat. You don't feel that sense of security?
No. I mean, if the government and the people in it looked at every threat as only a threat, then we'd be living our lives in fear every moment and every day. They have to look at it as both a threat and an opportunity, which they do. If you don't think the DEA or whoever's on the Tor network, I mean, they're using it just as much as everyone else is.
But that's a threat
and
also.
taking advantage of it. I mean, the first thing that the U.S. did when Bitcoin first was becoming, $1,000 Bitcoin, they made political campaign donations when Bitcoin legal. That's the first thing they did. So with the removal of the Silk Road and by the FBI, I mean, you're looking at tens of millions of dollars in Bitcoin that now is in the physical possession of the government. And what are they going to do with that money if they're not for it? They're obviously supporting it to some degree, if not to exploit the technology.
But here's my fundamental question about all and any money. In the apocalypse, right? Zombies running down the street. Does it matter whether I have a federal U.S. note in my pocket or a Bitcoin in my
I imagine
phone?
cigarettes and alcohol.
At the end of the day, am I going to be able to feed myself because it's still just a currency based on an intangible support?
Yes.
Which means at the end of the day, gold might be better because at least I could maybe make a tool out of it, or
well, gold might be better for any number of things. I mean,
silver maybe.
If you want to touch it and have a little worry stone, then get your gold.
I guess my question is more pitted at this idea that I hear a lot of people talking about Bitcoin as being in the collapse of the currency. But if the currency collapses, aren't we really screwed at a more fundamental level that it doesn't matter what currency we're holding on to?
Yeah, Bitcoin's not replacing it. You can buy into it and sell out of it into any currency in the world. Maybe minus Thailand, I guess, at the moment.
Every currency accepts it as an exchange?
I mean, it has a value in every currency.
How did that happen?
It became
when
a digital commodity.
Is there a date?
There is a
stamp on it.
There is a date, and I can get that for you
is
after
it
this.
Recently,
that Bitcoin became a thing.
That you could exchange it for any currency in the world.
No.
Like if this were 1942, could I do that?
No, 7 years, 8 years, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe 6, 7.
Well, that's
8.
a significant thing because that's a recent event.
That is quite recent.
That is a very recent event. So that's a pretty significant fact. That's
when the whole system was created.
This whole system of currency became mainstream.
Yeah.
That's a pretty significant event. I mean, if you look at it, that's like the last presidential election, right? When the banks failed. So when the banks failed, right?
Conspiracy theory.
What, do you have one running?
No. I'm connecting your dots. Please continue.
But
I apologize.
Do you have your own on that same thoughts? Or well, I just explained to this guy before you were listening how I thought the world was flat. So,
you're one of them.
Yes, I am. Here's what I am. I'm a man who asks questions.
Good.
I don't actually subscribe to too many beliefs, but I subscribe to a lot of questions looking for answers. Like, all I presented to you were a bunch of questions, right? I didn't actually subscribe it as a belief, like this is my belief. It's, I can't explain why these things don't add up, right? So in that sense, it's like anything else. The other night at the party, who was the tall guy that I was talking to? That with the glasses? Tall one that was in the group.
Oh, I fired him.
Jeff, what's his name? You
Teddy,
fired him?
Teddy fired him. It was a communal decision.
What happened there?
I had a customer threaten to beat him up because he lied to him about working at a nuclear power plant and like working on pneumatic pumps, and then he didn't know what pneumatic meant when the customer revealed to him that he was a pneumatic pump engineer. It didn't work out very well, and like I just told him to get his shit and get out. I can't have liars, and like he said, like get your guys under control. I don't want to lay them out was his words.
Well,
so yeah, I mean
that's an ironic segue to what I was just getting ready to say. As I was going to say, the other night at the event, he offered to sell me $8 of Bitcoin.
I'm sorry.
He wanted to exchange it for $8 of weed, and I didn't even know how to do the math on that one. I said,
$8 of weed for some Bitcoin.
I apologize. He's not one of mine.
I said I didn't know how to calculate that.
Actually, he's one of the Denver Bitcoin centers.
Okay. So that's where I got that in my head. He must have given me a card that said that on that. But my ultimate question that I gave him,
the answer's 42,
was exactly ultimately about trust and confidence. Because I looked at him and I said, so I give you $8 of weed. You give me this thing that says I have $8 of Bitcoin. How the hell do I know still what the hell you've given me or what do I have here? I said, explain that question to me, that in a currency, the reason why the U.S. currency is so powerful is not what it's backed up by. It's the belief that when somebody looks at it, it's instantly recognizable as a U.S. dollar, which comes with the people behind it. There's no actual backup other than the belief in what it is. So when somebody says, I'll give you $8 of Bitcoin, how do I look them in the eye?
You punch them in the face.
How do I know what the hell I'm getting myself into with this whole Bitcoin thing? What can you give us a basic security?
And put value to it, but
but there has to be an agreed upon value to make it.
If this is
value,
Waterworld,
right?
and I say I want to give you $8 in dirt for your weed,
right? But the reason why a U.S. dollar is valuable is because if we wake up tomorrow, it'll still be a U.S. dollar in 10 years from now, and so forth. You know,
that's the excitement with Bitcoin. You wake up tomorrow, Bitcoin could be worth $2,000.
But it's not answering my question. How do I know? Because a dollar, you give me $1, I know how to check to make sure it's a U.S. dollar. What is the verification process to know I'm getting Bitcoin?
There's a number of large exchanges out there globally.
What is the face of the Bitcoin?
There's no face. There's no face. That's why it's decentralized. No one's in control.
I know I'm getting $1 because they've taught us how to verify what's a real dollar versus a paper printed dollar, right?
Well,
how do I go through that same step of Bitcoin? Because because I'm an idiot. I don't even know what a Bitcoin is. So if
Right.
somebody walks up to me and says, here, I'll sell you $8 a Bitcoin, what do I go through?
I would like to say that this is the very abbreviated version of all of this. I teach a class on like how to get Bitcoin, what to do with it once you have it, how to store it, what is it? Like all those are different classes. Those are all like at least an hour-long class, generally a few hours. So anyway, what I would recommend is find exchanges that you trust or grow to trust, and each exchange has its own value of Bitcoin. So you can really make money just buying it from one exchange and selling it the other if it's over the fees based on how much each exchange has Bitcoin going for.
Right. You and Chris, when you're talking about all the technical stuff, you're talking about all these different providers of Bitcoin. How do they come exist, and how do I know if I get involved with one of them, it's a legitimate, what they say is Bitcoin?
Here's some layman's trust for you. Do you know the Winklevoss twins?
Yes.
Okay, for the people that don't, they made Facebook first. They sued Facebook. They won millions and millions of dollars. Anyway, they got the first
I saw the movie.
New York's first bit license, which is a financial license in order to do transactions in Bitcoin for the state of New York.
It's an actual governmental regulated.
It is in New York. It's not out here. So
it's a local.
do as much business with us as possible before. No, regulatory. Actually, one of our purposes is to provide assistance with the state if it ever decides
So this is where it
to make
stems
legislation.
From. The whole world of Bitcoin stems from this place in New York?
No.
This was the creation?
Not at all. Japan, no one knows the actual name of the creator. There's a pseudonym. There's a Satoshi is the first name that's generally accepted. And apparently the whole Bitcoin system was a school report or something like that. And it was provided to the internet by the instructor that it was turned into. So it's all very, no
So
one
it could
really
be
knows.
ultimately another CIA plot is what you're saying.
Sure.
That's what
let's
I'm
just
hearing. 100%. That's
drop
what I'm
crack
hearing.
into the city.
Anytime things
Don't play each other
anonymously
much.
appear in the world, they're all CIA plots. Please continue on your train of thought.
Was there a train?
More in your drifting boat, drifting in the sea. A boat with no paddles.
So that layman's trust was they just got this bit license, but I believe what I had read was that they were doing some kind of like exchange or something to do with that nature. These are big exchanges, U.S. exchanges.
It's being embraced, but there was originally resistance and controversy, right?
Oh, yeah, no, there's
it's
been
not just my fantasy.
controversy
right?
all over the place.
I'm not just looking for controversy and conspiracy. It
No,
actually
no.
existed,
yes,
right?
it gets big, right?
Yeah.
Bitcoin gets big. It's worth like $1,000 Bitcoin, $1,200, just 16 in some places. And then China goes, this is illegal. And so all of the Bitcoins that are in China, right? Boom, off the market.
Millions and millions of Bitcoin.
The value of Bitcoin, it just plummets.
And the value is based
same
on,
week,
again, what? A scarcity, a demand, supply, demand?
It's based on a number of different things. It's based on how much it costs to make it or generate it. It's based on how
What
much
cost? Energy cost? Time cost?
energy costs
Like of physical machines
per
working?
kilowatt. Yeah, at the wall it takes 700 watts, right? And so you've got to.
So that's the cost of the coin. That's the production of.
Yeah, and if you're paying, let's say, Excel tier 1 for like a residence, it'd probably be like $6. 6 cents, 6.5 cents.
So at the heart of this digital
kilowatt.
currency is still energy. Is still
yes
energy tapped into.
Yeah, and
the
that's
grid.
actually one of the big controversies. Is like this is super wasteful, guys. We made a currency. Yeah, it's the first, if you will, global currency that's really working. And you can look at it like that, and then you can look at it like we're spending how much pounds of waste
Right.
to generate this small amount of virtual money that's
Right.
intangible. You'll never, or your children will never hold this. Their grandchildren will never hold this. So if you want to look at it that way, you got your pros and cons.
I would like to know what the actual cost of production of physical money is. I'm sure it's in the millions and millions of dollars of printing.
That would be a very
the
interesting
dollars and
comparison.
coins and everything else that have to replace. I mean, currency only lasts so much in circulation, as well as coins, and it's got to be circulated, and it's expensive. The logistics of moving money around. I mean, that's where I started off when I was 18, working in the bank vault, Wells Fargo, pushing big carts of money around. Right,
Oh, man.
and it's a big circulation. The Fed and the banks bring it in, and you send it back out to the Fed, and it just keeps circulating. Take the bad stuff out of rotation, new stuff comes in. That all has a cost, also.
It's not saying either you could just make it a natural power source coming in to mine with as well.
Right.
So you could still produce this currency if you did it another way, a solar or wind turbine. And
That's for the
you're not worried
production
about
of the
it.
currency, but the value is supported by what?
Well, that's part of what it's supported by. Ideally, it really is worth only what.
So right now, when
what
you
we
say it's
say it is.
$362 per coin,
450
how
in
much
some
of
places.
that was the energy of physically running the machine?
And see, that's why it's only a part of that.
Okay.
Because that's more the
so break the whole
tangible parts
out. What
Okay,
else
so
goes into
you've
it?
got, for example, right now the price has skyrocketed like $100 in the last week. It was like 300 pretty steadily, well 200 pretty steadily, and then like 300 and 400, and like I think it hit 500.
Unstable currency to me sounds like a nightmare. If I were a company or a country, that's the last thing I would want.
Stocks.
Our countries aren't based on stocks. They run on the currency, which doesn't fluctuate in that manner. Imagine if we woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden there was $100 difference in your valuation.
Okay, so it might not be so volatile, but like Colorado exports a lot of steel, right? So if the price of steel goes to shit, then like it's the same idea, it's a commodity.
Well, stability. That's what ultimately most governments are striving for, is just stability, whether it's it's steady
predictable.
3%.
It's relatively predictable.
Right.
There's no black and white, here's the math to figure it all out. But for example, China has been buying a lot of coins, pumping 500 million a swing into new mining facilities, things like that. And so that's driving the price up $200 in the last couple weeks.
But see, all this still doesn't answer my question of why. Why are they doing this? Why?
To get rich.
Don't they have currency?
We are doing it for the eventual purpose of seasteading, buying out of society sort of deal using an anonymous currency. It's great.
But why are people going to buy a new currency? What's wrong with the old currency is my question. What is going to happen to the old currency why would somebody need to buy another currency?
I'm telling you, it's not goat shit.
What does that mean?
It means you can't buy a pound of goat shit with $1 bill. But Bitcoin consistently, since a few months after its creation, the entire time has been worth more than a pound of goat shit.
So it's a virtually created currency that holds better value over long term?
I mean, I would trust something that's consistently worth hundreds of US dollars.
And this is why drug dealers want to use it, because you can put their millions of dollars into it and be anonymous.
Over here. Yeah, no, if you go on the Tor network, I mean, right away, you're probably going to find all the phishing sites where it's like, hey, buy...
What's the Tor network?
The hidden internet.
How do you get there? What's the button I push? Is there a button?
Well, you download the Tor network browser and you configure it properly.
I did that. My Mac didn't like it. It kept crashing.
Bring it in. I'll do it for you for free. Part of what we do here.
All right.
I am serious. Bring it in.
All right.
Like, Viz.red, our nonprofit.
Can you check to see if the CIA is tapping in on my computer?
I mean, we can just sniff it, yeah.
Well,
are you really worried about
if
that?
If you're into that kind of thing, but I'd rather you just look and see if there's any viruses or anybody peering into the hard drive or anything. Looking at my files.
Gross.
Sniff it.
I'm gonna sniff it.
You probably will sniff it.
I cover my camera with a sticker on my computer, and I cover the Apple at the bottom.
You'd be surprised about I'd say about 25% of the computers we get in here have covered up cameras.
Yeah. I believe them when they say people can very easily tap into your camera and look at you.
People, no. Hackers, yes.
Are hackers not people too?
Not the same type of people.
Not like a corporation type.
I mean, you're people, right? Can you just hack into somebody's camera remotely? And
I have trouble turning on my camera, so I'm not sure how.
Would you say you might speak for people?
No, I think people are more tech savvy than I am.
Hey, are you people?
I think Chris is probably a normal.
Can you remotely hack? Can you remotely hack into a camera?
Not right off the bat, but I could probably Google it.
Yeah, you could YouTube it.
Yeah, I could YouTube it, and I am a tech student. I'm a network student. I mean, I've got an A+ certification and taken Cisco classes. I understand a fair amount of what's going on out there, but I'm not a hacker, but I do understand it, especially from a security side. Taking
I got
network
A+
certification, I have to
just want that to be on the
understand what
record.
type of things people can do out there. So yeah, I could do it with a little training, probably.
A little YouTube training.
I could probably YouTube it right now. Yes.
As you see, I had trouble setting up my equipment here today, so
wireless systems in here.
I mean, I haven't figured out how to not make it split yet in the audio, but well, that'll make for an awkward edit then.
We'll pick it back up.
Oh yes,
Others.
you were going to give us
How
all
does
the
that come
layman's a 1, 2, 3 of how to validate who we're working with that's a legitimate Bitcoin. What do we look for? What is the hold the dollar up and look for the image face and the metal strip and the changing color corners and
You get a wallet. A Bitcoin wallet.
Okay.
Which number of resources out there. I recommend one that's not a third-party wallet, so that you are actually in control of your money.
I downloaded the one that the dude told me to download.
Ignore him, burn it with fire. Now the CIA is watching you.
It was one that I had to attach my bank account to. Is that a proper Bitcoin?
I mean, it could be, but that one's not. For that he was spreading. Yeah, get rid of that. I fired him for a reason. I apologize. He wasn't even here a week, man.
Now I feel like there's a bomb ticking on me and I need to get that off my phone.
Lock that down when you get home.
This right here highlights my point, though, right?
Come into Viz.red
and says, "Hey, man, I'll sell you $8 of Bitcoin."
Don't get scammed.
All right, so I just uninstalled that. Which one should I be going for?
Not a mobile wallet.
From the Play Store?
Not a wallet on your phone.
Oh. So on my computer.
Think about it this way. Flash memory, or the memory that's in your phone in museum conditions, degrades very quickly and sometimes just spontaneously disappears. On a hard disk drive, a little stronger magnets there, and so under museum quality conditions, it can last a lot longer than your lifetime.
This is good. Lesson number 1, only use a desktop.
That's the idea.
Now, desktop or laptop, okay?
I use both.
So the memories are the same from laptops, some with a solid hard drive?
Yeah, the only difference between a laptop and a desktop, besides like solid state or disk drive, and again, solid state, that's that flash memory type of stuff. Yeah. Even if sequential, non-sequential, doesn't matter. Don't use solid state. Use a disk drive. It's going to last longer.
There you go. That's number 1. What's number 2?
For extra security, have one wallet that is on a computer that's not connected to the internet. You can get USB drives. You can buy USB drives that are the same thing.
As a backup?
Yeah, and again, I don't recommend it, but you can.
Because you could lose it or somebody could steal it. Or
if it's on the internet, it's vulnerable. That goes for any electronic data, not just Bitcoin. Yeah, if you want to added security, then keep a second computer that's not connected to the internet with a full blockchain on there. Use that as your vault, if you will. So large amounts of Bitcoin over large periods of time, put them on there. So connect it to another computer and move them over. I mean, that's above standard users. Secure, so it's good information, but it's above your standard user who's not worried about getting robbed.
Will the doors be locked?
I don't leave here. We do have someone here 24 hours a day.
Really?
Yes.
This
is a very substantial investment. I got someone here 24 hours a day. We got cameras. We got.
Is somebody working or just on premise? Because
the night shift, I don't think they work. I think they play Guitar Hero and watch movies.
Nice.
It's a pretty good night shift, but again, we are all volunteer based, so I don't pay these guys.
Well, here's what I think we've learned after all this time. 54 minutes. I think I'm still just as confused about Bitcoin.
That's why this is one class is this long usually that does one question. Like, what is it? How do I get it? Where do I put it? Where do I spend it? Like, what can I do with it? Shit like that. That's all an hour-long class.
All right. Well, why don't we do this? Since it sounds like it might need multiple times, let's just plan on potentially making it multiple times to explain what this is all about. Because this could be big, right? This could be something that the industry really takes a hold to, especially since the issue of where do people put their money who are in the industry.
The
right
federally
now, right?
insured problems, Bitcoin is definitely a huge potential fix for that.
So why don't we break it up so people can understand in multiple sessions? And why don't we wrap this one up today and do it with giving a place for people to reach out to you? So if they do want to talk to you about Bitcoin, whether brokering it, mining it.
So we're at 323 Airport Boulevard, right across the street from Buckley and near Raytheon and Bit Systems. And
is that intentional?
Hitkins University.
Intentional or coincidental?
It's a little bit of both. I looked at a lot of places for about 6 months before I found this one.
Yeah.
So our phone number is 563-277-7699.
You're trying to hack into the communications of the surrounding...
I'm not trying to hack anyone. I might be willing to open up a tunnel and volunteer a computer, that a dedicated machine, so that if someone did want to hack with my guys and they set up a dedicated machine, we could go back and forth between the two computers. I'm down for that. I've got classes that could work for.
Okay. There you go. If anybody, for any one of those reasons, wants to reach out to you,
or just go to your browser and type in viz.red.
Viz.red.
VIS.RAD.
Yeah, come by anytime. We can fix any items that you have, any electronics, computers, and help you get things running smoothly again, cleaning up desktops and laptops and making them run faster for free. We don't charge for labor. If there's a part that's needed, that's all we ask.
Nice. Cool. Well, that sounds good. Then I definitely encourage everybody to check you out and use you for all their tech needs. Yeah.
Come on by.
Sounds good. And we'll definitely have to follow up and get more in-depth as we progress on this journey of learning about Bitcoin and figuring out what it's all about.
Sounds fantastic.
All right, guys. Have a good afternoon. Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.